Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Cammy Goes Keto, where I am talking today about motivational interviewing. So you might ask, well, what does motivational interviewing have to do with a low carb or ketogenic diet? And the way that I think that they have to relate to each other is through a relationship, a connection between how somebody eats and what they actually eat and what they want to eat. And I know that so many of us, while we are busy trying to eat a ketogenic diet, get caught up on eating things that aren't on our plan or things that we weren't planning to eat and eating off plan or behavior like that. And I think that a lot of that has to do with, at least for me, it has to do with wanting to be comforted or being angry or being frustrated or not making the right plans and not having the right food with me, or there's multiple different reasons why that happens. But I think as we continue to work on having a healthier and stronger relationship with our food, that our diet and our success gets better on the ketogenic plan. And especially for somebody like me who's had a history of, binge eating disorder and all kinds of emotional and eating and things like that. And I know that a lot of you can relate to that. So motivational interviewing is a way that you can ask people questions to get them to come up with their own solutions. And instead of telling people what to do or how they should be doing it, you can get them to come up with their own creative ideas for how to make things better. So if you want to get a piece of paper and a pen, there's 4 questions that I'm going to ask. And then you're going to be able to do this with yourself or keep these questions in mind when you have other people around that are trying to create a change in their lives or in your life. So the first thing that you do is you think about something that you want to change and how you're going to go about doing that. And the first question that you ask, question 1, is why would you want to make this change? So you look at the reasons why you want to make the change. And then question 2 is, if you decide to make this change, how might you go about it in order to succeed? So so then you just brainstorm with some ideas about how you're going to do it, what you're going to do in order to succeed with this change that you need to make. And then if you decide, and then what are the 3 best reasons for you to do it? And I did notice that some of my reasons why I wanted to make the change at the beginning did come up when I was doing this about the 3 best reasons for you to do it. But you write down the 3 best reasons that you want to do it. And this just creates some ideas about different ways to go about it and gives you some ideas that might be different than the ones that you had been thinking about before, and how you're thinking, oh, I just can't make this change. I've tried and tried and tried, and beating yourself up over the fact that you're not able to make the change. But doing these questions might create a different way for you to go about getting the job done. And then question 4 is, how important would you say it is for you to make this change? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it? And if it's less than a 10, if it's whatever number it is, you can ask yourself, why isn't it lower than that? Like if it's a 10, you could say, well, what are the reasons why it's a 10 and not an 8? And that will provoke you to have more thoughts and journaling about why that is. Or if it's an 8, how come it's not a 4? What is it that's motivating me to have that higher number? So this is a quick video. I just wanted to ask those 4 questions. I'm going to do some journaling myself. And then when I come back in the next video, probably tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about the change that I want to make and why I decided to come up with the ideas that I did. So again, in summary, the first question is, why would you want to make this change? The second question is, if you decide to make this change, how might you go about it in order to succeed? What are some ideas that you have about succeeding? Third question is, what are the 3 best reasons for you to do it? And then the fourth question is, how important would you say it is for you to make this change on a scale of 0 to 10? And then the follow-up question is, and why are you at that certain number rather than at a lower number? Like, why are you at an 8 rather than at a 4? And that helps you figure out why you're being why you're motivated. This is a motivational interviewing I got from a lecture that was just recently here at the Symposium for Metabolic Health. I feel terrible. I don't remember the name of the doctor. Rashani Sangari, I think was her name. And she was a psychologist and an endocrinologist and had done a lot of work with interviewing people and gave us a lecture about motivational interviewing, which was really wonderful. So I hope you enjoy this video. Subscribe and come back tomorrow. We'll talk about my answers and you can do some journaling and come back and see what yours are doing. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care. Bye.